On an old abandoned road that hadn't been used for a long time, something incredible happened. A group of tourists exploring the local forests in search of adventure stumbled upon something unexpected, a vintage car that seemed to be frozen in time. The car looked as if it had just come off the assembly line. Despite the fact that its model was popular more than 50 years ago, the paint on the body was in perfect condition, as if no whims of the weather could have damaged it. This car, as if frozen in the past, raised a lot of questions not only among the tourists but also among the local residents. Who could have left such a find here, and why did it look as if it had been forgotten for just a moment, rather than for many decades? Even more intriguing was the car's contents. Inside, everything remained untouched. Old newspapers with yellowed pages, a radio tuned to a station that had long since gone off the air, and a road map with illegible notes. All of this created the impression that the driver would return at any moment to continue the journey. Examining the car, those who discovered it could sense a faint, lingering scent of the past hanging in the air inside. Everything inside the car remained untouched, not even covered by dust. In the briefcase on the back seat, documents were found, dated more than 50 years ago, belonging to the owner whose name remains shrouded in mystery. It was as if the car itself and everything inside it had been waiting for their moment, for someone to open the door and uncover their secret. This mysterious discovery on the old highway sparked a wave of interest and, at times, even disbelief. After all, how could an entire decade vanish into oblivion, leaving such clear traces behind? The dust of time. Inside the car, it was like being in a capsule. Peering inside the car is like opening a time capsule left behind for future generations. On the passenger seat lay several yellowed newspapers. Headlines from the past spoke of events long erased from memory, but here they came alive with renewed vigor. Beside them rested a cigarette case, slowly beginning to tarnish, yet still retaining the scent of tobacco sealed in by the years. Not far from it, small coins lay scattered on the floor, bearing signs of wear, as if they had been tossed there only a few days ago. In the glove compartment, they found notes written in a slanted handwriting that was difficult to decipher. The lines seemed to hold elusive secrets, and each letter could become the key to unraveling this mystery. It was here, among the old documents, that they found the owner's identification card, but the name on it raised more questions than it answered. An interesting fact, the radio, though silent, seemed to be waiting for its moment to once again play the melodies that were popular in the era when the car first began its journey. On the back seat lay a road map covered with illegible notes. Someone had clearly tried to convey a message, but its meaning remained a mystery. Every detail in the car seemed deliberate, as if a scene had been played out here and then suddenly frozen at a single moment in time. All of this created the feeling that the story had paused, waiting for its moment. I wonder where these discoveries will lead. A diary from the past, an indecipherable map and its secrets. Examining this mysterious map found in the car, it becomes clear that it holds a kind of cipher from the past, almost like a diary forgotten in time. The sheets of yellowed paper are covered with strange symbols and lines, as if someone had carefully tried to conceal their intentions. Unfamiliar markings, drawn with an unsteady hand, turn it into a real puzzle that has yet to be solved. But what do these notes mean? Are they merely traces of long-forgotten roads, or perhaps secret routes the owner once followed in those distant times? Interestingly, some of these lines do not match any real maps, which gives rise to many speculations. Perhaps the owner drew his own routes, leading him to mysterious places along the old road. At the center of the map, a circle stands out, outlined several times, as if it plays a key role in this mystery. The circle, as many have speculated, might be tied to the owner's unresolved destination, lost in time, but perhaps still significant today. Carefully studying the map, it becomes clear that every line, every mark on it has meaning. But to understand them, it's necessary to reconstruct the story behind this car and its driver. It seems as though the map wants to tell its story, but the whisper of its pages is still too quiet. All that remains is to guess what secrets it hides and what hidden messages are waiting for their moment to be revealed. Perhaps the solution to this mystery is only just beginning. The ghost of the road vanished without a trace. The disappearance of the car about half a century ago became one of the strangest cases of that time. Imagine a bright summer day. A car is speeding down the road. The driver is completely confident that he will soon reach his destination, but suddenly he disappears as if he has vanished into thin air. This is exactly how the witnesses of those events described the disappearance, and to this day they sadly recall the mysterious vanishing of the car from the driver's maps of that era. Many tried to find at least some trace, but all efforts were in vain. The car and its owner simply disappeared, leaving behind only an empty highway and a host of unanswered questions. At that time, other strange incidents also occurred on the road. One day, people claimed to have seen that very car flicker on the horizon, but when they approached the spot, it was already gone. These sightings became a true urban legend, growing with new myths and speculations. At some point, people began to think that the car had somehow crossed over into another world, hidden from the eyes of ordinary mortals. But the story took a new turn when, decades later, the car reappeared on that very same road. Many wondered how such a thing was possible, and only a few could believe that it was the very same car. The memories of people who knew the owner spoke of his fascination with things unknown to science and his drive to unravel mysteries. Perhaps it was not just a disappearance, but the result of an experiment or a search for something beyond comprehension. The mysterious car returned, but its story, like a ghostly trace on the road, still remains shrouded in mystique and ambiguity. One wonders what other secrets Russian roads conceal and whether future generations will be able to uncover their mysteries. Unusual coincidences. The mystique of Russian roads. It seems unbelievable, but this car and its disappearance seem to attract mysteries and oddities that have accompanied Russian roads for decades. Every time someone mentioned the mysterious, almost mystical events on these highways, memories would return to those times when the car went missing. Local residents spoke of strange experiences and indirect coincidences connected to this place. Eyewitness accounts of bus tickets disappearing before departure on this stretch of road, or rare cases when drivers heard faint but distinct radio broadcasts from the past coming from nowhere, only added to the mystery. There was even one case when a driver claimed to have seen a person standing in the middle of the road, dressed in clothing from 50 years ago. But as soon as he tried to get closer, the figure vanished like a mirage. The appearance of a car on the old highway after so many years became a kind of culmination of these mysterious events. Questions about how the car could have remained untouched and never left that mysterious place remain unanswered. All of this is fueled by rumors of unknown forces that are said to guard the old roads. These stories are reminiscent of those times when numerous tales of ghostly apparitions and temporal anomalies were on everyone's lips. The mystique of Russian roads leaves no one indifferent. Anyone who has heard even one of these stories or experienced inexplicable phenomena themselves feels the past and present woven together in a single mysterious pattern. Witnesses of the past. The latest known facts. Among the mysteries that remain on the road, connected to the disappearance of a car more than 50 years ago, the quiet whisper of the past still echoes in the memories of those who have ever encountered this incredible story. Some local residents still remember the stories about how, back in those days, the car and its owner were the talk of the town. One version claimed that the car's owner was connected to an expedition studying anomalous zones, which could explain his strange disappearance and the subsequent return of the car. Interestingly, in those days, strange phenomena were often seen on the highway. Passing drivers claimed that in certain stretches of the road, there was an inexplicable heaviness in the air, sometimes making it hard to breathe. Unusual objects were found along the road, as if they had been brought up from other times. However, all evidence linking these anomalies to the missing car remained nothing more than speculation. There are also records in the local police archives of citizens reporting that they saw a mysterious light appearing on the highway at night. This led to new rumors that the car was supposedly part of some complex, puzzling investigation. However, there was never any official confirmation. The last known facts about the car's owner remain a mystery to this day. Many tried to investigate his past, but the documents they found only deepened the mystery. Among the local population, there were even rumors that the driver possessed secret knowledge that was lost along with him. All these events added even more charm to the mystery, and even those who were initially skeptical soon began to believe that the story had much deeper roots than anyone could have imagined. The owner's mystery. Who was the owner of the car? Uncovering the mystery of the car's owner, whose vehicle was left on the old road, raised more questions than it answered. His documents found inside the car pointed to the name Viktor Petrov, a man about whom little was known until now. It seems that Viktor himself, much like his car, was a mysterious figure. Originally from a small town not far from the highway, he worked as an engineer at a factory and had a reputation as someone passionate about science and technology. Neighbors described him as a reserved person, lost in his own thoughts. Viktor would often disappear for long periods, which sparked considerable curiosity and suspicion among the townspeople. Some claimed that he spent time in laboratories or alone in the woods, studying things that could not be explained by conventional science. This coincided with rumors about his connections to anomalous phenomena that once troubled the local population. In his house, manuscripts and drawings were found in the attic, indicating an interest in astronomy and the study of various energy anomalies. These documents suggested that he might have been involved in the study of the phenomenon of temporal and spatial displacement. It is possible that his research led to the creation of something unique, which ultimately became the reason for the car's disappearance. Witnesses who knew Viktor recall how he once spoke about the possibility of traveling to other dimensions. Interestingly, a few days before his disappearance, he was seen with something resembling a metal case, which was believed to possibly contain a device related to his theoretical work. This could also explain why the car was restored to almost perfect condition, despite the years that had passed. The question of who Victor was and what he was working on remains open, attracting the attention of researchers and historians. At the end of this story, we realize that the solution to this mysterious disappearance may lie at the intersection of science and mysticism, opening doors to a new understanding of the past and the future. The consequences of the discovery, new theories and unexpected findings. The appearance of the car on an abandoned road almost half a century later sparked a flurry of discussions and speculation among researchers and enthusiasts of mysterious phenomena. The astonishing condition of the car itself, untouched by time, prompted scientists to consider possible explanations for this oddity. One of the theories suggested that the car had somehow ended up in a so-called time trap, where time had stopped and only now resumed its flow. This hypothesis was surprising and sparked debate, but it lacked sufficient evidence to be definitively confirmed. Local residents and experts also paid close attention to the map with mysterious markings found inside the car. The process of deciphering it began with the involvement of experts in cryptography and history. Some of them suggested that the map might contain directions to secret routes that were used at the time for covert purposes, possibly even related to government tests or classified facilities. Soon, a host of curious individuals appeared on the scene, from historians to representatives of various mystical movements, each trying to offer their own explanation. Rumors began to circulate that the car and its owner might have been part of an experiment aimed at studying temporal and spatial anomalies. Some researchers believed that Viktor Petrov, the owner of the car, might have been involved in studies concerning the boundaries of reality and that his disappearance could have been the result of a successful experiment. These theories, along with new discoveries, led to even deeper investigation, attracting the attention not only of local researchers but also of the global media. As a result, the mysterious car became a symbol of the unexplained and inspired new research into anomalous phenomena. It forced people to reconsider previous beliefs about time and space, adding a touch of mystique and science fiction to our lives.